Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
It's bumbling time. Here we go. Yeah, buddy.
Bumble all our way through
it. Oh, man. I love when that guy bumbled and had all that bumbling going on. That was great. And he said, it's bumbling time.
These questions come to us from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and start the bumbling with Miles the Prower. Had an argument with my sister. Is it cheese sticks or mozzarella sticks?
A cursory search tells me that it might be a regional thing.
Maybe. I'm like, what are they referring to exactly? Like the melted breaded cheese sticks or the sticks made of cheese that are just cheese? Like,
see, that's what I thought was the distinction, but apparently the deep fried version can be called cheese sticks by some folks.
Huh. Interesting. I mean,
but it's always mozzarella, so mozzarella sticks is still accurate.
It's always mozzarella in both terms. Mozzarella sticks are a type of cheese stick, and like as far as I'm concerned, I think it could go either way. I mean, I don't think either of you is wrong or right. It sounds like, or maybe you're both right.
What you should be doing is arguing less and eating more cheese sticks, or mozzarella sticks, or mozzarella cheese sticks. Why not just call it that?
Why not just call it cheese and eat it? Why not call it, why call it anything when you could be eating it? Use your mouth to eat the food, not call the food anything. You don't eat it. But apparently cheese sticks are pastries in the UK, so maybe that's a weird distinction that needs to be made.
Maybe.
What kind of pastries are cheese sticks? Is it like a cream cheese sort of thing, or that's a very strange thing. We'll have to look more into that later. This question is from Mencher. I love very much every Titan boss's music. I was analyzing them for a long time, and I noticed a very interesting pattern. I think the order of the songs are reversed. For example, I'm Here is more suitable for Giganto, Undefeatable for Supremo. My question is it true, or am I being delusional?
I would assume that Kishimoto-san knew what he was doing, putting each song to each boss, because that's a very deliberate decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say it's as intended, but, if you prefer it another way, mute your TV and play the song you want while playing it. I ain't going to judge.
I mean, hey, thematic approach could go either way, It's whatever you feel. There's a lot of crossover there, I think. Here's a question from Luminous Stranger. So I looked at the Japanese material on Metal Sonic that said his CPU functions on logic operators / operations, plus mathematical logic, and Japanese Sonic Frontiers, in which Sonic mentioned that Sage likes arithmetic. So I assume the concepts of those exist in the world of Sonic?
Sure.
Math exists in Sonic's world, but money does not.
It'd be real impressive if they get an entire flying orbital science center without math.
Metal Sonic runs on Linux. I mean, why not? That's right. Here's a question from Kedrian. Big the Cat has appeared in multiple places throughout Sonic's adventures with little rhyme or reason. He's appeared in Sonic Adventure 2 as cameos, he showed up in the world of the Arabian Nights, and without going very far into detail, he makes a brief appearance in Frontiers. He seems to become this Tom Bombadil-esque creature who can appear in multiple places so long as fishing is possible. Is this a plan for Big going forward? Big was sort of an odd character in Sonic Adventure 1. However, now the idea that he can only interact with the plot with the end goal of fishing is honestly hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
It is very, very funny.
I cannot speak to the long-term brand goals for Big, but personally speaking, I like him better as that kind of running gag. I mean, he's fine as a side character, as, a friend and part of Team Rose every now and again and what have you. But to me, I think he shines best as the iconoclast, as just somebody who does not fit in, and that's why he fits. Like, even in Sonic Adventure, he's the odd man out. His game style is completely different from anyone else. His one boss fight is a extremely simple mini game. The whole thing is he crashes the tornado too, escaping the egg carrier, and goes back to fishing as if nothing happened. The guy he's a walking punchline. He is not the butt of the joke. You are laughing with him, not at him. Or not, I don't know. In summation, yes, I agree. I think it's funny, and I hope that's how things kind of continue for him.
Yes. And I hope he continues being a part of stuff. You know, don't forget he exists. We need that. We need Big. We need him. Truly do. He is always with us, at least in spirit. Here's one from Judas K. In the now defunct game Sonic Runners, Sonic tries to give a pig a chili dog, to which Omochow tells him they might not like that gift very much, to which he replies that he doesn't understand and would have been stoked if someone gifted him a chili dog. Does Sonic not know what's in a chili dog, or does he know and just doesn't care? Was he really saving those little animals in every game, or was he just saving them for later? Oh no. Oh no.
Here, guys, hide in this pressure cooker. I promise you it's safer. They're
all beef chili dogs.
On the one hand, I want to say don't read too much into the joke and just let it be. But, you know, if it's made at the expense of the internal logic, you do have to kind of question it. In this case, I would say Sonic just doesn't know what he's eating. He doesn't really care. It tastes good. Done.
All right. Here's this question from Jolene B. In Archie, different characters' super forms had different names. Supersonic, Hyper Knuckles, Turbo Tails. What do you think Amy's super form would be called if she had one? How about Sally?
I don't know, because there's really no rhyme or reason to it. Like, there's a little bit of alliteration, well, with Supersonic and Turbo Tails, but not with Hyper Knuckles. And that always bugged the crap out of me because Hyper is a different form.
Yeah.
That's wrong. But that's neither here nor there. So,
I mean, Amazing Amy seems kind of like
yeah,
that's a little too easy though. But
yeah, but if we're talking about, you know, that era, that probably would fit.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be too wordy. It needs to be snappy. Super Sonic, Hyper Knuckles, Turbo Tails.
Yeah.
Man, back in that era, they probably shortened it down to Amazo Amy. Just,
Awesome Amy.
Yeah, maybe. I don't like that,
I
though.
don't know.
Just give her Super Amy. Give her a proper standard transformation.
Angelic Amy. Angry Amy.
Amy Smash. And Sally, you know, I mean, Super Sally's right there. It carries the S alliteration. Superior Sally. I mean,
What'd you say?
that would Lee says that would go over well. And you know what? It would please one side of the fan base, and it would validate the anger of the other side. So sure, it covers all the bases.
Oh no.
Maybe Regal Sally?
Yeah, something like that.
Royal Sally? Sovereign Sally.
Sovereign Sally.
Of course, now I imagine just this giant mechanical hand squid descending from space. I know I'm mixing my games, but
yeah. That just makes me think of Sovereign Citizen, which is completely something else that we don't want to. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. No. All right. Here's a question from Johnny B. Good. All this talk of cyberspace reminded me of the digital levels in Shadow the Hedgehog. That game had 2 Tron-style stages taking place in the networks of Gun and Eggman, which the Black Arms invaded with Chaos Control to take down from the inside. Do you think this kind of cyberspace could be revisited in future stories? The fact you can seemingly teleport into computers and quote-unquote hack them by force raises some interesting questions.
Yeah, and there was a stage in one of the advanced games that I'm pretty sure is meant to follow that theme as well, because it looks like you're running around like on a circuit board or something. It's really funky. And honestly, it was kind of hard for me to look at. It was hard to track where I was, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of touch upon that in the Egg memos where where Eggman makes a comparison between the two, which I guess is a little spoilery. Oops. We're talking about the grander Sonic. Yeah, whatever. It's not something that I would want to revisit a lot because, frankly, I think it's a little silly. Yes, even within the context of Sonic, but it's pretty well established now as a thing, so it's possible.
Advance 3, I guess, had a level that was similar called Cybertrack. That's kind of interesting. I have not played Advance 3 personally, so I should probably get on that. I've played 1 and 2, so maybe I'll play 3 someday. All right, here's a question from Hayes Bose. Because Sonic CD is canonically before Sonic 2, I was wondering if Eggman got inspiration for the Death Egg from his visit to Little Planet in Sonic CD, or is it just a coincidence in their shape? Also, hi Kyle. Hayes Bose.
Canonically, I don't think it's necessarily stated one way or the other. I mean, it's certainly a valid interpretation. If that's your headcanon, run with it. I ain't going to argue about it.
All right, here's a question from Green Hill Zone 900. I know Sega are allergic to romance, but can we please have a scene of Sonic and Amy finally kissing? It's very unfair that Sally had multiple kisses with Sonic, and after 20 years, Amy still hasn't even had one. I know it's different canons, but this completely unfair situation still exists, and it's the first thing that Son Amy haters throw in Son Amy fans' faces, and I'm tired of always seeing it. I strongly believe that Sally and Elise completely hijacked Amy's role as Sonic's rightful love interest, and until Sonic has a kiss scene with Amy, like he did with Sally several times, and Elise and other girls, I'm sure people will never see that Sonic does genuinely reciprocate Amy's feelings toward him. Worn out subtle hints do not work, particularly after how blatant they were with Son Ally and how for so long Sega was literally just mocking Son Amy and even herself, not to mention how they constantly made Son Ally patronize the heck out of Son Amy. It's going to take a lot more than useless hints, which most people didn't even pick up on, to really give Son Amy the justice it deserves.
I am not getting into the middle of this fight. Right. I think saying that it's actively patronizing and putting down a side of the fan base is inaccurate. It's not something I ever set out to do, and I don't think the higher-ups at Sega care that much about it. It's just that's not the direction they want to go with the characters. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you prefer a particular pairing, it doesn't matter how valid it is or not. It's what you like. And if someone says, well, there's no canonical backing to it, who cares? So what? I mean, technically, yes, Sonic and Elise kissed, but she was kissing a corpse. I don't really see that as grounds for dismissing why someone likes another pairing. Just, I understand if you like a thing, you want it recognized in the source material. And if you want to see them move forward, then what you need to do is, you know, contact Sega through its social media channels and say, you know, I am here. I am the audience. This is what I want to see. And if there is enough of a voice in a particular direction, that can possibly sway things. I mean, you can't make demands, and if you're rude about it, that's going to hurt your own case. But I can't make that change. I can just, you know, give what feedback I receive and pass it up the chain of command, and that's that. But I'm not rooting for one side or another, or, you know, I'm not losing sleep if the hedgehogs snog. You know, if you want to see it, champion it. Go for it. Enjoy the fandom that is centered around it. Enjoy your own headcanon. I'm not going to dispute that either.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
This question comes from Philip is cold. Philip, you need to put on a jacket, man. It's been at least a week. Kyle, you hear a knock at your door. You open it, and you are met with a katana to the throat.
Oh, no.
The Sega samurai have found you. You are taken to a secret underwater council room with fancy lava curtains, and are met with the mortified faces of the lore council members. These include, but are not limited to, Ian, Flynn, Evan, Stanley, Tyson, Hess, Bob, Izuka himself, and Big the Cat. The samurai say that for your illegal involvement in this with the one called Bumble King, you must forever join his side at the Lore Council in case you were ever exposed to the super duper secret confidential information. The samurai say, as a new member of the council, you shall make one thing you desire canon, and no one can argue against it. What horrific thing do you bring into Sonic canon? Bonus points if it ruins everyone in the room's day.
Oh, man. There's so many things. There's so many possibilities.
They don't even need to put a sword to your throat. They just hand you an invitation. You come dancing along.
I was going to say, like, why do they need to threaten me and pull me in like this? I mean, they don't need to do that.
Kyle, you can carte blanche ruin a good thing. What say you?
Well, I mean, if I can't, like, make Sonic uncanon, then if that's like a restriction, like, okay, you can't, like, kill Sonic. Or Shadow. Shadow's not allowed to be dead. You can't kill him. If I can't do any of those, then I guess the best I could do is make Big the Cat canonically a benevolent deity. I guess that's the best thing I can do.
That's not ruining things. That's making them better.
I know it technically does make it better. I know. I can't really ruin it. It's because the things I want are things that I think are good. Like, I think it would be a good thing. I think having Big as a secret god would be amazing. And it would explain so much about his character. Oh, man. But I think in reality, the real thing I would do, I think I would make the Freedom Fighters canon. I think I would throw the bone to everybody and give them just something amazing. And I think that would be good. Like, if no one could argue against it, nobody, that would be, yes. I would go with, let's make the Freedom Fighters canon. Let's hash it out. Let's figure it out. I mean, if I can't go further and make, like, the whole, at least, elements of Archie reboot canon or anything like that, at least bring in the Freedom Fighters. I'm going to say that. Just, let's do it to it. Let's bring them in. That would be mine. For real. Here's a question from Dove. Dear Ian, would you want to write a Bomberman comic? If so, what would you make it about? Dear Kyle, would you want to read a Bomberman comic? If so, what would you want it to be about?
I don't know a ton about Bomberman or its intrinsic lore.
He's a Bomberman. He's a Bomberman. I mean,
and there's other bomber people. I understand that.
There's a storyline in the Bomberman 64 games, I want to say. So there's a bit of lore there, I think. But I and
we're ignoring the Grimdark reboot. I know that one had a story, but...
Well, I mean, obviously, we're always going to ignore the Grimdark reboots. I don't know why anyone even tries.
So, yeah, I mean, if given the opportunity, certainly I would want to do my research and, better understand Bomberman. I haven't played a lot of it, and partly because it requires quick thinking and reflexes in a puzzle environment, and that is not my forte.
I love me some Bomberman. It's a super fun game, so I would read a Bomberman comic, sure. What would I want it to be about? I'd hope it'd be about bombs, men, and bombers men. That's really what I would hope it would be about. Like, I would hope it would be that and not, like, I don't know, TNT boys or something. I don't want that. I want bomber men. That's what I want. I don't want these dynamite guys. I don't want any of those dynamite guys. I need to meet a bomber man. I need that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Our last question before we take a break is from Domino. Sonic and Blaze date night. How would it go down? Would Amy be jealous?
I think it would be a little awkward, to be honest.
It would be real awkward, yeah.
Blaze has already got some issues with, just general open friendliness. She's a lot better than when she started, to be sure. But intimacy is still, I think, the next big hurdle she has to even approach. And Sonic is not the most romantic character out there as is. So I imagine there would be a lot of, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I'll do whatever you want to do. And it would be kind of awkward until they just realize they just need to relax and be themselves and go for a run and see the sights around the world and just enjoy each other's company. You don't have to adhere to a rule book. There isn't a checklist you have to go by. It's, you're together. That's the whole point. And just enjoy each other's company. Amy, where she is now in terms of characterization, I think would be a little sad that it's not her in this situation, but she's happy that her friends are happy.
Yeah, I feel like that would be fun. But also, I think, like, I mean, why can't, I don't know, why not all three on a date?
Kyle, you invite such rancor into this house. Why for?
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to tell you it's time for us to take a break.
Okay, come on. They've all got two hands.
We'll be back after these messages.
We're back with a question from Conga. With Nicole being the last female character to get a super form in the series back in the Spark of Life arc, out of all the original female characters in the current IDW series, who do you see as the most likely to get a super form and why? As a bonus, what color would their super form be? Note, does not have to be through Chaos Emeralds. For example, Jewel goes super with the 8-piece Chaos Chicken Wing meal, and pairing Surge with purple is cheating.
I like the chicken wings. I've never seen a bug eat so many chicken wings.
And she just goes.
Now, if Surge, I think would be the most logical one.
Currently,
thematically, power-wise, it just makes sense. Purple, nah. We've seen that already done in other media, and there's too many parallels. Then, with the electric theme, I would imagine it would be more of an electric blue, like white, hot, charged, maybe even like an electric fire type of thing.
Oh, heck yeah. That sounds
like
awesome.
That top knot just turns into a blazing blue electric flame or something.
God.
That'd be sick.
Power Surge.
Yeah. Power Surge, yeah.
That's freaking rules. Yes. Oh, man. Incredible. I want it. I want it badly. Make it happen.
So that would make the most sense to me. Now, if we're like really fudging the line on super forms and just saying, overpower transformation, because Overclock Nicole was not a super form.
Nope.
We can't have super forms for non-hedgehogs. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're fudging that line, maybe all colors whisper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
And I just imagine Tangles on the sidelines watching all these transformations being bedazzling. I want that one and that one and that one and that one.
I mean, she's got the heart eyes and the star eyes and all the eyes. She's just making all the amazing awe faces. She's like just in awe of everybody. Yes, as she should be. All right. Here's one from Chaos Sonic 1. So, Ian Flynn, what if scenario? Sega and IDW let you work with Ian Muchler, and they allow you to build lore on Muchler's creation, Ian Jr. How would it go?
Well, I mean, it's his son. I should ask him first. I mean, it'd be wrong for me to take someone else's child and just plot the course of their life. That's just tacky.
Probably.
No. I would ask Ian first and foremost. What is your son like? Where does he want to go in life?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have plans? Does he have aspirations? Let me be the author of your tale, but it's yours to tell.
There's so many Ians in everything nowadays. Too many Ians.
It honestly weirds me out because growing up, I was in a very small school, and Ian was the most foreign name anyone had ever heard, and I was heckled for it.
Really?
For the longest time.
Huh.
even to the point now where if somebody mispronounces it, it kind of gets my hackles up just out of conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
They're not mocking. I understand that they're mispronouncing it, and heaven knows I'm sure I've bungled other names. So it's let it slide. It's fine. It's just I work with Ians. There are other Ians in the fandom. Ians seem to be popping up everywhere. It's like it's okay to be Ian, and that's weird.
It is okay to be Ian.
I mean, I realize if I hop on a plane and go back home to the Emerald Isle and shout, "Yo, Ian!" like half the country would look up and say, "Aye." It's weird.
I mean, honestly, to me, Ian's always been kind of a pretty pedestrian name. It was like, it's not super common, but I definitely knew Ian's before you. So I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just a regional thing.
Yeah.
So I heard it before. So I remember like Kyle was a rare name for at least my area, or when I was a kid, until I got to middle school going into high school, and then all of a sudden there were like 4 or 5 Kyles all within several grades of each other, and we're all kind of jerks.
Oh no.
Like, well,
not your people, never mind.
Well, this is kind of awkward.
Shout out to the one Ian Flynn on Twitter who got their handle first.
Yeah.
And last time I looked, their profile says, "Not the comic guy." I am so sorry for all the correspondence you got, I'm sure. And I hope they finally stopped. Please don't bother that Ian Flynn. That's not me. I'm Ian Flynn BKC.
Well, that account is suspended now, apparently. So interesting. The one it's just Ian Flynn? No, nothing.
Yeah,
no modifiers
just
on
that.
it. Yeah, their account's suspended now.
I'm definitely not that guy.
I know there's quite a few Kyle Krauses out there, which has always been interesting to me. One of them is into sim racing video games, which is like, are they my clone or what? they're actually like good at sim racing apparently, and like run leagues for it and stuff, but it's not me. I'm not actually really any good at sim racing games necessarily, not on that level for sure. So it's like, okay, cool. So I think that was the person who had KyleKrause.com. Let's see if they still do. Looks like that's just a blank site maybe. I don't think it's anything anymore, looks like, but either that or it's my... No, okay, never mind. Yeah, that's okay. That's a squatted on by GoDaddy. Never mind. They used to have that site, but it was always kind of funny. All right, here's one from Batman69 LOL. If Surge's new hobby does get her out of the villain life, what would happen to poor Kit? How would he deal with abandonment and possibly move on? This is a follow-up to Batman69 LOL's question from last week, where he asked about Surge getting a hobby.
No. He's just going to be supportive of it. Like, does she need supplies for it? Does she want to publish this work or frame it anywhere? Or, does she want to do it together? No, okay, that's fine. He'll do it as well over here on the side. It's not going to be as good as hers, but, they're doing it together, kind of.
Well, there you go. I guess that makes sense, considering his continued hyperfixation. There's one from Axis. Hypothetical question time. Let's say Shadow, Knuckles, and Blaze are forced to work together to defend a city from a horde of enemies. How would they interact with each other? Who would take leadership? What kind of tag team attacks could they have? And most importantly, what would be the name of this team?
It's Team Kick-Ass is what it is.
I was going to say, this is Team Overpowered.
Like the three of them atop the roof as the enemy horde moves in. They know that they have to save this city. They're not going to bicker about it. They're just going to get work done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Shadow isn't necessarily a team player, but, he's still going to whoop all sorts of ass.
Aren't these...
Knuckles might try to take command. He's done it in the past. Blaze is a ruler, so she's kind of used to giving orders, but if Knuckles is like, hey, those people over there need help. She's not going to argue about it. She's just going to get it done.
Yeah. I'm thinking, or aren't these the same three characters that are the Knights of the Round Yeah, okay.
You remember how boss they looked with their armor and swords?
I know. Wouldn't that just be, couldn't they just be the team Knights of the Round? Why not?
I mean, sure, they were cool as the Knights, but I think their vanilla versions are honestly cooler.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm not saying they can be the Knights. I'm saying that they could just
they're
be
the Knights of the Kick-Ass Round Table.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that's what they are.
Knuckles already has kind of a fiery punch. Blaze just makes it bigger. Shadow Chaos controls something still, so Knuckles can pummel it into a fine paste. The effect wears off, and that boneless thing just kind of goes to the floor. It goes, ow!
Shadow's got fire coming out of his shoes. Blaze could just make it bigger and more powerful, and just rocket propels him forward even harder.
Big old moon jumps.
Oh boy, yeah. This is. I think this is Team OP, and they're just.
Chaos spear something into place so it can be flambéed as Blaze goes by. It's ooh.
They would just I guess we should probably be glad this team does not exist for real, because they would be unstoppable. Like literally unstoppable. And that's before you start factoring in emeralds and stuff, and it's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. Here's one from OzJam. Many video game characters have iconic voices that we all know and love, with a notable one being Charles Martinet's Mario. However, one such character that never had a properly defined voice is Sonic, and despite many fans favoring one or the other, it usually seems that Roger is the most divisive in many areas. My question is, what do you think fans liked in the previous game voice actors for Sonic, Ryan Drummond and Jason Griffith, compared to Roger Craig Smith, whom many find issues with? Alternatively, do you think Sonic should have a defined voice, or do the many different takes over the years make it harder to define what type of voice Sonic should have? I ask, as this is a popular topic to discuss in the community, along with gameplay style and a proper story tone for the series.
Honestly, I think right now the divisiveness, he says in large quotes, over Roger is just that he is the current one.
Yep.
And had he stayed retired and there was a new voice running mainline, then the same debate that is being lobbed at him right now would go to whoever's hypothetically running the show in this one. It's going to be like that for every guy. Remember the arguments folks had over Ryan? It was the exact same thing.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yep.
And while there isn't,
Jason had a lot of detractors. Very, very many detractors.
And a lot of the discussion I've seen, and it's like, this is clearly why Roger is wrong. It's like, no, that's your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's not remotely factual. That's your personal tastes, maybe, but it's not like an empirical bit of evidence. So I don't weigh into it at all, because you can't argue with somebody's taste. And while there isn't like a singular universal voice as there has been with Mario, although Charles's interpretation of Mario has varied over the years.
It has changed, yeah. His voice direction hasn't always been the flat across the board. Like his earlier versions of Mario sound very different from his current versions. I mean, obviously still the same character, and obviously still the same guy doing the same voice, but there's been changes. There's been differences.
Like the baritone in 64, and then you compare it to the shrillness of Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. And the same kind of thing applies to Sonic, whether it's Jaleel White or Roger or anyone else. It's always a youthful, somewhat high-pitched, high-energy voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just slightly different variations across voice actors and voice directors. Now, with Frontiers, obviously it was pitched lower, but everybody was kind of reined way back in on that one because they wanted a particular sound for the game. But I feel like there is a kind of universal trend for Sonic since the franchise has been running.
Yeah.
It's not the exact same from each interpretation, but it's still a logical theme. You can hear where it's been largely the same from Adventures of to now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a through line there that I think fits through all of them, through even going back to Jaleel White. I mean, at least as far as English voices go. Japanese voices are kind of interesting, because Sonic has had the same Japanese voice since Sonic Adventure 1, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, but for Japanese voice actors, they usually land a gig and they keep it.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's a lifelong role because they treat voice actors way differently than we do over here.
Yes, they do. So I think pretty much everybody's had the same role for Sonic games in Japan since at least Sonic Adventure. So yeah, but that's a totally different thing. That's just something we don't do in the English speaking world, I should say, so much. Unless you're like Batman. And even then, like, there's been so many other Batmans. Even while Kevin Conroy was still actively voicing Batmans, there's still other people also voicing Batman. So it's like, well, which one is which? Or which one is the Batman? I don't know.
Well, Kevin Conroy, but
still. I mean, Kevin Conroy, yes. But yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, there's just so many different ones. It's not like there's a definitive voice. So, I mean, and now we're seeing Mario have someone else playing Mario, which we've seen a few different variations. It's just Charles Martinet they seem to treat Charles Martinet kind of like they do Japanese voice actors, which is pretty cool. I kind of wish more companies did that, but yeah. All right, here's a question from Arcfighter. So now that 56 is out, was Sonic like clinically dead there for a moment?
Maybe. I don't see no autopsy report. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
It wouldn't be the first time.
He's been deader before.
he dies and gets better all the time. It's his thing, man. I mean, he literally goes around and collects extra lives. So, I mean, got to use them at some point, right? Here's a question from Andrew D. On a recent BumbleKast, you mentioned that you personally and unofficially referred to the third saga of IDW Sonic as Eggman's Legacy, but you mentioned that it covered everything up to issue 50. Considering we're still dealing with the fallout as well as remnants of Starline, at least until 56, wouldn't it make more sense to say this third saga covers the events up until then, if not more?
Look, I ain't going to challenge your headcanons, so why you got to challenge mine, man? What you doing? Why are you doing this, huh?
Ian, you get your headcanons challenged constantly. That's literally what this show's about.
Honestly, it's my work too. I see where you're coming from. To me, once Starline got smushed, that to me is kind of the end point. And the story from here, at least when it comes to Surge and Kit, is them finding their own story, which I feel like is different than being directly part of Starline's plans. You know, Starline's ambitions ended. Belle made her critical final decision on the matter. There was closure. And then the next chapter is Surge and Kit growing from here and the other tangents that Evan and I are following. So I see it as a distinction. If you don't, then label it however you want. I ain't gonna question
it. All right, and we got one last regular question from Alphamon or Yukin. Would it be possible for Nicole to download herself into the body of an infiltrator bot / auto automaton, provided they are a blank state and have no conflicting programming?
Would make sense to me. I mean, as platforms, they have the capability of lifelike AI. So I would imagine they have the capability of running her program.
Sure, why not? Why not? All right. Well, with that, I think it's time we jump into the Frontiers spoiler zone. Warning, if you have not played Sonic Frontiers and don't want to be spoiled about it, we'll see you next time. Do not listen anymore. But if you want to be spoiled on Sonic Frontiers, you've already played it, or anything like that, stick around. Here's a question from James. In the cyberspace fishing minigame, there's a chance to catch an acorn or a silver acorn. Do you believe this is a nod to a longtime fan favorite character, or could it be something more significant than that?
I am 99% certain it is not a reference to Sally. A little bit of research tells me that within some Japanese folklore, the acorn is a symbol of good fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just, hooking one is, hey, that's lucky. That's a good sign. And a silver one is like, hey, it's a very good sign because it's silver. I'm not certain on that, but that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. Sorry, Sally fans. I'm sorry. I'm there with you. Maybe someday.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I hooked one, I'm like, what?
I mean, yeah, it is very strange.
But no, I'm fairly certain that's not what the intention is.
Well, here you go. Here's how you pitch it then. Sally Acorn being in Sonic would be good luck. Being in the Sonic universe would be good luck. There you go. There you go. There's your new pitch.
Oops, Sally's already been drowned. Too bad.
No! No. All right, here's a question. Our last question for today comes to us from Exadel. So we now know that the Chaos Emeralds were created, or at least originated from the Ancients. That doesn't explain why the Master Emerald originates from Earth, but I imagine that may be explained some other time. Maybe? Please, Sega? Though that begs the question, what of the Gaia Temples? They seem tailor-made to wield the Chaos Emeralds as a measure to stop Dark Gaia. Do the Ancients predate Dark Gaia, or was just one of those funky oversights that happen in the writing process?
We've had questions like this before, and I've been able to dance around it because, it's way in the past, and you can interpret different things different ways. This is a little more pointed, and I don't want to answer that right now or this year necessarily.
Okay. Hashtag knowing cough. All right. Well then, on that bombshell, it's time to end.
But before we go, we need to give a big thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Jennifer R., John B., Robotnik Holmes, Sam Cybercat, Samuel P., Torchbound, Mike B., Andrew D., Dave M., Salute Your Cat, Coupling Crew 128, J. Frost, Do As Diz Din, the Hero of Light 13, Noni, Professor Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Sony, Triforce Riku, Sonic, John M., Jib, Yami M., Fiona M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Ben Wolfsbane, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Cheval, Arcfighter, Keeper of Monsters, Axis, Xandery, The Painter, Tick Tick, Jonathan D., Starlight Sec, The Name is X, Twilord, Solaire Stain, Nemric, Godzilla, Nondal, Cameron H., The Disgayan, Ava Arctic, Justin S., Dove, Justin Mountain Soul, Alex GS, Chaos Sonic 1, Dabbler, The Dalek, Sonic Legacy, Ink Thinks, Penanticant, Les, Jennifer H., Jolene B., Red, The Superdynamic, Alphamon, or you can Joshua S. Omegawatt, Uni 221, Of the Stars, Nova Poly Duo, and Tails, Preston M., Noah M., DeRusiful, Kojiro, Highwind, Sonic 84, Awesome, Cakester, Supersonic Fan, KJB, Radbury, Chase L., Wildcard 717, Z Broadcast, Callum Q., Jack C., Jay the Redneck, Miles the Prower, Navarre, Exadel, Agent Kaz, Four Sonic Fan, Puppy the Scholar, Rhythm Raccoon, Endabend, Pig Dan 20, In Zephyr, Oz, Jam, Shimmy M., Curly Quills, Angela V., Aiden S., The Marble Gardener, Mox, Biggie Sawdust, ONBD, Wheelie Doe, Sandra B.H., Smiley 21, Sammy S. Bushman, Crooker Vlad, IPC, Sterling, Sonic, Mancher, Congo Windskull, Supernova, Superior Pizza, Sonic Padge, Philip is Cold, Michael P., Thigoff, The Crucified Devil, Loop-de-Loop, Omega Man 21, Thievius, Delta God 77, Dominic the Raccoon, Planet Breezy, Unity, Kedrian, Lori L., Native Nerd 27, Jason G., Cody G., Lacey M., Marcy H., Caswell, Mr. Murderbird, The Giant Murdering Bird, Lucky Lychee, Razor, Sir Needlemouse, SB, My Fish Eats Rocks, The ID Card, Phil C., Jonathan F., Hip Kid Brick, Levi C., Sonic Underground, Tetsu Knife, Ultra Guy, Crabo, Nils, Sonic Mania 2099, Hadronis, Salato 02, Noob 600, Paley, Hey Boys, True Sonic, DG Labs 79, Zapon Syrian, El Technopada, Buttered Noodles, Miles Power D, Frost Hobbadon, Wheels 282, Hedgehog, Jamal S., Luminous Strangers, Zay Cartoons, The Unmiddle Road, and Snowflame.
Oh, just amazing. Thank you, everybody, as always, for your support. Thank you.
That's going to wrap us up For tonight, we will see you on Friday for some standard Q&A.
Ooh.
Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you then. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. I like to open up the door, throw things in, and then run away laughing.
You like to open the can of worms and then run away laughing.
Why not? Tell me.
I don't know. I don't read the comments.
Oh, okay.
You have to wade through the mess.
I'm glad you don't read the comments because, man, actually, most of our comments are pretty nice, or at least cordial. They're pretty straight. Usually, they're just unrelated questions or something. Sometimes there's ones that go a bit off the rails, but those are just
I do.
Those are usually just kind of funny. So,
who is it? Oh, I can't remember now. But there's always someone who's like, for the something we ride. And
that's Sony. Yeah, that's
Sony.
Good.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's good old Sony. For the algorithm,
that always brings a smile to my face.
They're there for the algorithm quest.
Yes, there we go.
And I love them for it. Thank you, Sony.
I see you. You are appreciated.
Yes. Sony is always there. Sony is a stalwart. We love you, Sony.
Sony.
Not to be confused.
Always on the algorithm quest.
Not to be
Sony.
Not that Sony. The Sony, different Sony. There's two Sonys, which is very odd. But yes, there's one called Sony, and then there's the one that is referred to as the questioner Pan Dulce, who enjoys Starline, you know. But not there's two, but they call themselves Sony. But
there's one Sony here and there's one Sony there. We like the Sonys from anywhere. Sony, it's so true. We like you.
All right.